Hey guys, I hope you're having a great start to your Friday morning, and it is so gorgeous here. But jumping in with today's topic, I really wanted to chat about this constant worrying, constant low-level anxiety, feeling doubt about yourself or low-level confidence, but this constant fear that can kind of linger with us. It mightn't be too much for you, but it just kind of takes the edge off joy. It takes the edge off happiness. It takes the edge off just feeling better within yourself. And something that I was contemplating the other day, and it really kind of shocked me when I realized it, and how much this permeates through society, how much this can affect us, how much this can affect our kids without us actually even being consciously aware of it. Hey Jacqueline, lovely to have you on. Hey Yam, hey Sandra, lovely to have you all on. And this is this one thing. What I realized was that from a very, very, very young age, we are taught to worry. We're taught that we need to have our room clean, or we need to get ready on time, or we need to be rushing somewhere, or sometimes, you know, you might be sitting down and just playing a game, and next minute, you know, mum or dad is yelling, or mum or dad is upset that you haven't done something, or you haven't brushed your teeth, or you haven't combed your hair, or you haven't, like, there's all these things that we're kind of heavily anchored in. And what I realized is that it's almost like we're, as a society, I think that we're almost in this hyper vigilant state. Hey Tadia, lovely to have you on. Hey Amy, lovely to have you on. I think I've got everyone there. And we're in this constant state, this hyper vigilance of, is somebody going to be angry at me? Is somebody going to get upset with me? Now, that's from, you know, our parents, like perhaps, and I grew up in a really supportive, loving household. So, you know, and I've still got some of that kind of going on, because it's like, if mum or dad were stressed, or mum and dad were even just rushed or busy, I think sometimes there can be that feeling of, oh my God, I've got to get ready, I've got to get organized. And where it comes from is a deep unconscious thought of if I don't get it right, or if I don't do what I need to do, somebody's going to be angry at me, or somebody's going to be upset with me. And then we go to school, right? And next minute we need to get all the tests right, or we need to not talk in class, or we need to, so we've got all of this fear-based authority kind of control and parenting and everything else, which I understand, you know, we as a society, in order to be able to function, you know, being able to be guided by our parents as to what's right and what's wrong, but there's very little inspiring into, oh my goodness, you know, wouldn't it feel amazing to like have a clean room, or wouldn't it feel exciting to be organized and ready on time? You know, instead of that, we're often brought up with the threats of, if you don't do this, you're going to get a smack, or if you don't do this, you know, you're going to get in trouble, or you're going to get sent to your room. It's all fear-based and all kind of very, you know, punishment kind of driven, and it doesn't actually allow us to kind of step into not only independent thinking, because suddenly somebody else has got all the rules and somebody else is always telling us what to do. And then from school, so we've got all of that going on with parenting at a young age. Then we go to school, we get told the same thing by our teachers. Then we go to work and get told the same thing by our boss. And so we're living in this constant state of hypervigilance, of constantly looking over our shoulder going, am I getting it right? Is somebody going to be mad at me? And I think it creates, like I said before, this very unconscious, so like I wasn't even consciously aware of that I kind of had it going on, and it wasn't until I was listening to an audio where I was like, oh my God, wow, yeah, this, like, somebody's going to be mad at me, somebody's going to be angry at me. And I was like, wow, what would that actually feel like to imagine nobody's actually mad at me? Like, everybody else has got their own thing going on. Everybody's projecting their own rules. Everybody's projecting their own stuff onto everybody else. And in fact, if somebody is mad, they're generally triggered by something that they're seeing in you that they don't like within themselves. So again, it's generally not about ourselves. Everything is very, very reflective. And when we can start to recognize that, then we don't tend to take things on as personally. I know for myself, was highly, highly sensitive as a child, still very highly sensitive as an adult, and things can penetrate me quite deeply. I can take things in at a very, very deep level, and sometimes that can really affect our emotions, or how we feel about ourselves, or, you know, even the beliefs or the thoughts that we think about ourselves as well. Now, where this kind of happens as well, hey Marguerite, hey Brooke, hey Jody, hey Fiona, hey Rob, hey Jamie, lovely to have you guys on. Where this can really impact us is that we're actually very, very entrained to our mother's nervous system when we're very young. And so we're actually, like, even in utero, we're very, very responsive. And they've actually done studies on this where if mums or expecting mothers are very, very highly stressed, the child will actually develop a larger a back brain, which is the survival mind. So it helps us to react to fear-based things, and the adrenal glands will actually be enlarged in that child. And that's because as a society, as a human race, we're very adaptive. All of nature is very adaptive, and so it's constantly adapting to what it's expecting to be born into. So if mum's stressed, then the child is actually anticipating, unconsciously obviously, nature's providing ways for that child to be better equipped to deal with the stress of life. And so we're very, very much entrained into our parents' nervous system. Now, where this plays out generationally, obviously, if we go back even just like a couple of generations, I know my grandfather and grandmother, they very much experienced the Great Depression and war and, all of those things. So, with very, very much as a threat to survival, whereas obviously, in today's world, if you're in a first world country, we're so blessed. And even though we might get stressed and things about different things, if we're living in a house, if we've got some food in our fridge, if we've got even $5 in our wallet, we're so much richer than a huge percentage of the world. We're so well off over here, and I think that it's really important to be able to remember that. But go back a couple of generations, there was so much fear. Now everyone's nervous system is now being entrained as well with that, unless you've done the work on yourself to actually clear that up, step more into a vibration of love. Now, as that actually happens, what's actually going on, our nervous system is constantly preparing for the fight-flight response, constantly preparing to get us out of danger. We're living in that state of vigilance. We're living in that state of, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I going to be okay? Can I survive this? All of these different things. Hey, Carly, lovely to have you on, Dylan. Hey, Phil. Hey, Tisha. Lovely to have you guys on. And if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to pop them in there as well. Hey Latifa, great to have you on as well. And so what's actually happening is, so we've been entrained with the nervous system of our parents. So if mum or dad was quite stressed, or they're busy, or they're rushed, and we only have to look at today's society. Everybody's rushing from A to B. It's kind of like we've over jammed our schedules, and we're trying to fit way too much in. It's this overproduction kind of energy that's going on a lot of the time, unless we're becoming more and more consciously aware of what's actually going on for us and starting to peel some of that back, step back, look at life and do some self-reflection. If we haven't done that, or we haven't taken time to do that, and to really say yes to the things that light our heart up, say no to the things that aren't really working for us, then we are in this constant treadmill. We are in this constant fight, flight, and then that impacts the digestive system massively, which only compounds the issue. Hey Helen, great to have you on. Hey Catherine, hey Anne. And the reason why it compounds the issue is 95% of your serotonin, 95% of your feel-good hormones are created within the digestive tract. Like 95%, 50% of dopamine, which is your reward hormone. So when you do a great job, or when you feel good about yourself, or you feel proud, or you feel successful, or like it's literally like the reward hormone that the brain releases hit a dopamine, and you go, oh my God, that felt good. Let me do that again. But if you're in fear, if you're in worry, now your digestive system, your body's not worried about digesting breakfast while it's being chased by the tiger, guys. It's sending it's going to inhibit the digestive system. It's going to inhibit any recovery process, any regeneration process within the body if you're living in a constant state of stress. Now, short term, that's very adaptive and very, it's very life affirming. We actually need that response. But what's actually going on long term, if you're not coming out of that stress response, now we've got chronic stress, now we've got chronic anxiety, and without the correct levels of serotonin, now we're actually less available or less resilient to be able to deal with the stresses of life. And now this starts to really compound and get into a really bad cycle where less and less of the digestive tract is functioning at a high level. We've got inflammation going through the body from chronic cortisol. You've got a lot of weight being gained around the waistline if you've got high levels of cortisol that you just won't be able to shift. Blood sugar levels, we get tired, we get exhausted because the body's actually not coming out of that vigilant state. Melatonin and serotonin cycles out of balance, which is your sleep cycle. So you can see how over time this can compound very quickly and then really lead to a disruption of just feeling a sense of peacefulness, feeling a sense of calm within yourself. So it's a really, really important factor. Hey Christy, lovely to have you on too, hun. Really important factor to kind of take in and go, wow, what are my unconscious beliefs, or what am I actually thinking day to day? What am I actually worrying about? Is that really relevant? And am I worrying about the future, or am I in the past, thinking about the past, feeling depressed about the past? Because of course, when we're focused on the past, we're powerless to change that. And anytime we feel powerless as humans, now we've got an even greater fear response, because now we're in a situation that we don't like or we're not happy with, and we're feeling powerless to actually change it. And then we become even more in a victim state, which activates the thyroid. So if you've got thyroid issues going on, it creates adrenal fatigue, long-term adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, IBS. There's all of these symptoms that can kind of play out that are very vague when it comes to Western medicine. It's not easy to identify. It is all a bit kind of blurry. You just don't feel great within your system. Hey Bruce, hey Tara. And you end up with brain fog, you can't think clearly, and suddenly now there's an overwhelmment of an actual physical disease now that's starting to show up in the body. And this is from this incoherent state that's actually created through the worry, through the fear, through the stress. Now what do we do to overcome this? First thing is, number one, be consciously aware how you're actually feeling every day. Where are your thoughts actually going? This is something, the more conscious you can become of what you're actually thinking about. First thing is just identify your feeling. Am I feeling great? Do I feel high vibe? Do I feel positive? Do I feel excited? And it's not a fake positive either, guys. It's like, do I feel grateful? Do I feel genuinely grateful? Do I feel genuinely blessed? Am I loving my life? Am I loving the way that things are showing up? Now, things are always going to get your attention because that's what the ego survival mind has been trained to do. The more physically tired you are, the worse it's going to get, simply because you're in a more compromised state physically. Therefore, your ego survival mind will be screaming at you anything that could harm you or hurt you, because that's its job, guys. It's not to make you feel fulfilled, happy, joyful. That is our heart. Our ego survival mind has one job and one job only, and that's to keep us physically alive. And so anything that appears to be a threat, whether that is an perception as a young child, so from 0 to 7, we're taking in the experiences of the world. So if a threat to our survival is mum or dad getting upset with us, withdrawing their love from us, or getting angry, or sending us to our room. So isolation is one of the hardest things to deal with as a human being, because it feels like we're outcast, rejected, abandoned. And I know these can be big emotional triggers for people and big emotional responses. I know for me, I've had to do a lot of work around that to step into that space as well. Hey Nancy, lovely to have you on. So number one, it just creates some awareness. How are you feeling day to day? What are the thoughts that you tell yourself? What are you actually thinking about? Are you thinking about what's going wrong or what could go wrong? Or are you more focused on what it is that you wish to create moving forward, on what you're excited about during each day? Like, what could you focus on that's great? What's going well for you? Where is the flow already happening? If you, like I said before, if you've got food in the fridge, and I know that sounds so simple to say sometimes when we've been through or going through a really intense emotional period in our life. Perhaps you've had some big life events happen, and I totally resonate with that. I've definitely been there for myself, and it's a really, really tough time, and there's nothing more infuriating than somebody sitting here going, oh, be grateful if you've got food in the fridge. I get that. I totally understand that, and it's not to make trite of the situation you're in or what you're currently experiencing. However, what I've found, and my personal experience experience was the more that I stretched myself to focus on what was going well, to tell myself and to really feel into all is well, or all is improving every day, or things can get better and better for me. And it was by doing that and by focusing so much on what I was wanting to create moving forward that actually gave me the power, that gave me the energy, that gave me the resilience to move through or to overcome what it was that I was going through at the time. So it's really, really powerful stuff when you can start to learn how to focus your energy and how to really start to focus your thoughts, question your thoughts. You guys that have been following me for a while, you know I talk about the Byron Katie work a lot. It is such powerful work. Good morning, Nick. Great to have you on. And so one of the thoughts that I was questioning is, if I don't get it right, somebody's going to be angry at me. And it's like, can I absolutely know that's true? No. How do I feel when I believe that thought to be true? Oh my God, I feel anxious. I feel worried. I feel stressed. I feel in this constant state of just like hypervigilance. I feel like I've got to watch my back. I feel like I can't trust anybody. I feel guarded. I feel defensive. I feel like all of these things. How do I feel if I didn't believe that thought? I can breathe. I feel calmer. I feel like it's okay if I make a mistake. I feel better within myself. Hey, Karina, great to have you on, darling. Hey, Claudine. And so by challenging our beliefs, we can actually really start to notice what we feel with the belief and without the belief. Now, the ego survival mind creates all of these beliefs in order to try and keep you safe, because that's pro-survival. As a kid, if you got it wrong, if you made a mistake, if mum or dad were, if you were used to mum or dad getting angry with you or getting upset or getting stressed, as a result of that, of course, that's pro-survival to try and prevent that, because it felt scary for you. It felt like you wouldn't survive. It felt threatening to you. So you were very guarded around that. But now as an adult, you get to make new choices. And as an adult, as a parent, I truly believe we actually have a real responsibility to change our nervous system. We've been heavily entrained in this pattern. It's very subconscious, like I said. By the time we're 35, 95% of our behaviors, of our personality, of the way that we show up in life, of our habitual feelings are actually automatic. These are deeply programmed, that sometimes like you're feeling that thing and you're just saying, well, that's just who I am, where it may actually not be the real you. You may be like, no, I've constantly worried since I was like a kid. Like I've always felt anxious. And so what we actually do is we start to heavily identify with that and believe that it's us. It's actually not you guys. It's a program that was actually built as a young child in your system to keep you safe, to protect you. So the more that we can start to challenge some of these older programs and these outdated programs that are no longer serving you, no longer serving your nervous system, now we actually get to set our kids free. And through kinesiology, I've tested, and there's been several studies done on this, when you clear something in yourself emotionally and through your nervous system on a cellular level, this actually clears up and down the line generationally. So it can no longer play out for your kids. I see this immediately, literally within hours. If I shift or change something within myself with an old belief, my kids will start to respond in a different way to things. It's amazing. It blows my mind every single time. It still fascinates me how it happens, but it just happens. I see patterns that I've held within my system of being disempowered or feeling like a victim or feeling like life is hard or life is a struggle. All of those things, guys, disempower us to live the life that we're truly wanting to live. Good morning, Laura. Hey, Rod. Hey, Beck. Lovely to have you guys on. So this is a really, really powerful thing. Start to become aware of your feelings and your thoughts. Ask yourself, this is a great pivoting question. If you find that you're in the pattern of worry, and so you've practiced worrying a lot, you've done it every day for a long time, ask yourself, what do I want instead? And a simple thing to say that kind of bridges the gap, because sometimes it's difficult. If you've been in constant worry, sometimes it's difficult to jump straight to gratitude or straight to a feeling of love or feeling really positive about life. And then we try and fake it. And then the mind just goes, well, that's rubbish. That's bullshit. I don't believe that. And we end up kind of worse off. Now we feel even more powerless to change it, because it's like, oh, well, that lady said to do that thing and that thing doesn't work, and so now I'm just stuck again. And so a way of bridging that gap is I'm looking forward to feeling better. I'm looking forward to feeling calmer. It's just a beautiful way of kind of bridging that gap a little bit and starting, and you can feel the ease in that. All that you're looking for is a little bit of relief, and feeling a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And what you will notice over time, over the coming days, if you practice this daily and ask yourself, thanks so much, Anne. If you practice this daily, what you will actually start to notice is that you are feeling calmer, you are feeling better, and it will continue. Again, when we do that, we get that hit of dopamine that I spoke about. Every time you get the hit of dopamine, the body goes, oh, that feels good. Let's do that again. Let's play this game. Let's, focus on what it is that I want to create instead. Even daydreaming about how you'd like to be living or what it is that you want to be living. Of course, daydreaming isn't going to take us exactly where we want to go. It is about taking the aligned action as well, but it's through the process of daydreaming, it gets you out of resistance. It gets you out of this feeling of stuck state. It gets you out of feeling powerless. It's like, well, what if I could? What if that was possible for me? So doing all of that is absolutely imperative. The other thing, guys, is gut function, and I think it's so important in today's society. I think, when I was practicing kinesiology, I had over 80% of my clients would come in with adrenal fatigue or adrenal issues. If adrenals are online, that means you are in the fight-flight response. You're in sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is go, 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 can't stop, can't breathe, can't rest, can't digest. It's like, just in this, I've got to escape. It's the fight-flight response, right? Now, it's not until we actually relax into the parasympathetic nervous system where the body goes, it's all okay. I can breathe. I can digest. I can be present in life. And I think, honestly, if you're in a state of like getting through the to-do list, if you've bought into my worth is based on how much I get done in a day or how much I do for others each day, we're really being indoctrinated into this productivity mindset of I've got to get it all done, I've got to get it done now, because in the back of our mind, somebody's going to be angry at me or somebody's going to be upset with me if I don't. And so the more that you can step into this state of just taking in some deep breaths, getting out in nature, being present with loved ones in your life. What if you stepped into today as if it was your first day as a human being? You stepped in and you're like, you were just amazed and intrigued and curious with life on earth. What would that actually be like for you? Like, like fresh eyes coming into this space. What else would you take the time to notice? What else would you take the time to appreciate? Is it that you'd be like, oh my God, what is this food? What does this taste like? And you'd actually take time to be really present. What is this other human being? What are they like? And you'd get curious and you'd take time to ask them questions or notice how they're feeling or be really, really present with them. You'd notice the sensations on your skin. You'd start to tap in more to your senses. When you're tapped into your senses, guys, when you're truly in the present moment, now you're not running the old programs. You're not in anxiety or anxiety from the future or worrying about future stuff. You're not in the past. You're just in a joyful state. You're in a joyful moment of being truly present with what life is bringing you in the moment. And it's such a powerful practice to do. So doing that as well as taking amazing care of your gut function. Now to do that, whole foods are absolutely important and essential. When you're overloading the body through sugary foods, carbohydrates, like processed carbohydrates, obviously there's great carbohydrates in plant food, sweet potato, broccoli, like all of your greens. Liver loves the greens. The liver is the metabolic processing organ of the body. So it's like the garbage disposal unit. Everything has to go through the liver. So if your liver's jammed up, your gut function is not going to be great. Obviously, the liver produces bile in order to help our body digest our food. So if the liver's, again, not functioning great, your digestive enzymes, things are going to be low because, again, the body's inhibited the digestive system. If you're not absorbing your nutrients properly, now your cells aren't getting the nutrition that they need. Now they're in a state of inflammation. So that you've heard the story earlier. Hey Pi, great to have you on. So this is so important to take care of your gut function, because in doing so you also start to boost your levels of serotonin. When there's higher levels of serotonin, you naturally feel better, you're naturally more resilient, you naturally have a better sleep cycle, you can breathe deeper, the white noise starts to dissipate. You start to take time out for yourself. You can create a different life for yourself. Hey Lauren, great to have you on. So this is really, really important. And one of the health programs that I'm involved in, I've been doing it myself for 2 years. I'm really, really passionate about it, simply because it's made such a difference to my own digestive system. My daughter's hands healed from eczema within 2 weeks of taking this particular product. It is a whole food supplement. It's not, synthetic vitamins, minerals, things like that we're putting into the body that the body doesn't recognize. It is whole foods that the body recognizes, and we're flooding the body with the right nutrients. And in doing so, we start to reduce inflammation. We start to help the body to release excess cortisol. You start to feel more balanced in your blood sugar. Inflammation goes down. Now the body's immune system starts to increase as well. So all of these things, guys, will help with the low level anxiety. So it's number one, be aware of your feelings. Number two, be aware of the thoughts that you're telling yourself. You don't have to believe all your thoughts. You don't have to believe any of them. Actually, I would challenge you to actually really question your thoughts. Is this true? How do I feel with the thought? How do I feel without the thought? If it is not empowering you guys, if it's a crappy thought to believe, and a belief is only a thought that you've thought for so long that you now actually believe it to be true. That's the only difference, is because we look for the evidence of what we believe to be true, and then the evidence reinforces that belief. Anything you believe will be true for you, simply because we constantly look for that evidence. And a client and I, when we were on a manifestation retreat, we both had this very different experience where she was experiencing something very, very different, and it was quite challenging for her with what she was going through at the time. And I noticed this big happy smiley face on the beach, and she was noticing something else that was actually quite distressing. I didn't see the other thing that was quite distressing, but I did notice the smiley face. And she said, we were talking about it later and just kind of being curious about it, and she said, oh my God, she said, you know what, I saw that, but I didn't see that. I didn't take notice of it. And that's because we're attracting, we're experiencing life through whatever emotional state that we're in. So if we're looking for happy things, if we're in a happy state, we'll naturally attract more of those things. If we're fearful, we're going to see all the things going wrong, all the things that are not working for us. Good morning, John. Great to have you on. So all of those things are really important. Taking great care of your physical body. If you are tired, guys, rest, relax, sleep. Take some time out for you. Breathe, get out in nature. Do whatever it is that lights your heart up, simply because by doing so, now your ego survival mind doesn't have to be as active, because it's no longer feeling as threatened, because you're not in as much compromised state as what you were previously. Do the inner work to overcome those generational patterns. Start to breathe into releasing the nervous system. Your nervous system has probably, if you've been a constant worrier or in a constant state of anxiety, and there will be times, constant is pretty constant, right? There will have been times where you would have laughed, you would have had a great time, you would have watched a movie that was enjoyable, you would have had birthday celebrations with friends that felt great. So there's obviously other things that you can focus on, but when we tell ourselves, I'm just a worrier, that's just who I am, then, we're over-identifying with that particular thing. So release that belief that I'm just a worrier. What would I like to be instead, or how would I like to feel instead? I'd like to feel a bit calmer, and then just start to work through that for yourself as well. Whole food nutrition really supports the body, reduces that inflammation. If you'd like any more information, guys, please reach out to me, send me a PM, or feel free to comment below, and I will definitely get back to you in the next couple of days. I've just got a bit on today, so it may not be today, but I'll definitely get back to you over the next few days, and we can have a chat about where you're currently at, what you're experiencing, and honestly, the superpower is gratitude, but I do teach a process where it can be a little bit tricky sometimes to get into that great state of gratitude, particularly if we've been living in fear, insecurity, doubt, worry, or perhaps anger. Anger can be a big one for people as well. I know, I've certainly had a lot of that suppressed over the years, where I've needed to just fully embrace that within myself. I think it's another thing that we're kind of taught as kids. It's wrong, it's bad to feel angry. So most people actually don't embrace their anger, which actually is truly supportive when we can recognize it for what it actually is and what it's trying to tell us. Anger is generally we've overstepped our boundaries, or we've allowed something to happen that wasn't okay with us, and we haven't actually articulated, we haven't spoken up for ourselves. And again, that keeps us in this constant state of worry, fear, or guardedness or defensiveness, where we're pushing against life. It doesn't feel good to live that way. So reach out to me if any of this resonates for you. If there's somebody that this could really help, please like, love, and share it with those that you love. And have an amazing day, and so much love and gratitude for you guys for tuning in. I truly hope that this has served you or been helpful in some way. There's been some little nugget that you've perhaps got out of it. So much love and gratitude. Like I said, if you've got any comments or questions, really open to helping you in any way that might be. So please send me a PM or comment below. Have an amazing day, guys. Loads of love. Bye.